Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. So a concept came to my mind. It ain't really anything special, or well, let's see what we're talking about here. As I'm looking around up at the people who are supporting me in my situation, I just I had a conversation with my sister, and I don't really look at myself as a young person. I don't. At 39 years of age, I don't think that's young at all. But when you're looking from a different perspective, you're older. You see me as a young person. I was talking to my sister. She's got me by maybe 25 years or something like that. So, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where it's like, as I look at the fullness of my situation, my mother passed away when I was 31. You know, I realized the concept of, like, you know, my uncle and my grandfather. They're like, you know, my mom passed away early in my life. Now, I kind of see it that way, but I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I guess it's because I view myself as older. When you're 31, you're in it, you know, you're grown. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, people are still trying to mature at this age a lot of times. You know what I mean? Especially if you got a slow start, if you were a slow starter like me. A late bloomer to just about everything I do. So it's like, I just look at that and I say to myself, I really appreciate my folks looking after me. And you know, I think the best way for me to look at it is I will to pay forward that to whoever comes after me. You know, I got to get myself in order to do that. But that's the goal. Is so, like, my nieces and nephews. I seem like my niece Brianna, she has babies. You know, my niece Lisa's got babies. You know, my nephew, you know, has kids as well. I got so much family on my dad's side that all has kids and stuff like that. And I look at my mom's side, we're kind of a smaller bunch. But going forward from me, you know, if I can get myself together, I'll have kids to and to expand our family. So the way I look at it is, for all of what I've been given right here from my family and all of that they've been doing for me, it's something that I think it's only right for me to try to get, of course, my life in order, and then from there to consider paying that forward to my nephews and nieces, or my children, or what have you, those who come under me as they grow into this age. I will still remember, because of how I was supported during this time, that people in their 30s and maybe even their early 40s can still need guidance, especially if their parents pass away. And so it didn't really, I never look at it in the fullness of that. I don't think I've ever looked at it like that. It's like when I listen to my uncle and I listen to my grandfather, they were talking about the development of myself. And I'm humbled by that. But I think if I had my life in order, it would probably not feel as good to hear people talking about the word development when you consider my age. But I'm very conscious of where I'm at, and I'm a self-admitted person who's immature for my age. So I don't have a problem with that. But as I grow more mature and as I grow more understanding, I realize how young 39 is when listening to people talk about people our age. You know, and I guess it's just that's the reality of all ages. I think 22-year-olds probably feel the same way, you know. But when you get to this age, you truly understand that you're in a sweet spot where you got people under you that you could be guiding, and you got people older than you that are looking at you like you look at those younger people. And I guess that's something I never really understood until today, after having conversations with my uncle and grandfather and my sister back to back to back. It's like, I really am still their little guy. You know, I'm still their little guy, and because of what happened to my mom, you know, they're taking care of me, more or less. They're putting me in a position to have that support that a lot of people don't have when they don't have anybody. And you know, it's just right that I have dreams of doing that for others, especially if something were to go wrong with their parents. You know, so that's a real thing. I was thinking about this, and I said it yesterday. I was like, you know, life would be so much easier for me if my mom was still alive, because there would be no conversation. I knew I should have brought that roach killer. I knew I should have brought it. Yeah, the roach right there, and I ain't bring my roach killer. But like, it's one of those situations where it's like, you got to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that people love you. Oh dang, I ain't get him. I got him now. Nah, you ain't got to call over my stuff, bro. Nah, we don't do that. We don't do roaches. Sorry. I know I'm not supposed to be killing bugs based on what I said earlier, but like I said, the compassion I have still hadn't caught up yet. When it comes to roaches, I don't have no compassion. I'm sorry, I'm growing, I'm trying to grow. As I said, I'm young. You know what I mean? All that conversation I had, you gotta walk the walk like that lady said. I couldn't walk that walk when I saw that roach walking up a wall. I couldn't do it. But nevertheless, it's one of them situations where it's like, I know that my development requires that I have more in me to not only, you know, go in regards to my behavior and development and decision making, but also I have to reach down better. That's almost that's like the other side of it. It's like, not only do I need to get myself together, but I need to start being in people's lives a bit better who are younger than me. People who have kids, I got to start being around, and that comes with me helping myself to a lot of different things mentally. So I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate that I have family that does still live. You know, family that's still here, man. That are able in a lot of ways to help this situation. And as I stand here in this circumstance, you know, I just feel like this is yet another determining factor for me getting on my feet from within this hotel room, going to get my lift car and going to do whatever it requires me to meet the expectations so that I can start making profit on the lift program. I intend to do that, you know. My mind right now is to definitely do that. So I just want to tell everybody that, you know, it's okay to not be where you want to be at 39 years of age, or even younger than that, or maybe even a couple of years older than that, or whatever. You can be a little behind schedule, or you can be ahead of schedule and still need support. So I just want people to know that what I've seen here, what I've learned here in this situation, and what I've been mulling over the last maybe 10 minutes, it's just an understanding that not only do I have a long way to go, but I'm viewed as someone who's still growing. And so that's the thing. You know, I was listening to my boy T telling me about my decision making, and it really does come down to decision making. You know, it comes down to what are your choices and what are your sacrifices. Mine is always about giving me comfort. I want comfort. I want comfort. I'm more comfortable at all times. But when you find yourself welcoming the worst of consequences based on your unwillingness to do what you need to do, and you doing all this stuff that makes you comfortable, but you're not really doing stuff that actually makes you better, and so you end up running into the walls like I have. You end up in a hotel room without your apartment. You understand, you know what I mean? You understand that it's not that you knew better, it's just that now that you've gone through this, you do know better now. And so that's what it is for me. It's like, there's a lot of stuff that I was talking to this camera, and I talked about a lot of things that I understood, but there were some key things that I've now come to understand that I would have loved to have understood back then. So that's just what this is about. I think it's safe to say that BDF 44 is a much stronger person today than he was yesterday. Much more mature person than he was in any of them other previous videos back in the day, because at the end of the day, I've come to realize that my development is still ongoing. I've come to realize that my decision making is still maturing, and I'm coming to realize that my mental health is definitely something that needs to be worked on in order for me to fully mature. So, you know, I just want to let people know that the process is ongoing, and don't look at people who are my age as if they got it all together. Maybe they have families of their own, so they probably likely to have learned certain lessons I've yet to learn that would make it so that they're a little more reasonable in their age at 39. But when you don't add family to your life and you don't make the changes to grow, you can find yourself not growing very much from 31 to 39, especially if you do it like I did. So that's really what it is, man. I just want to be honest about that. I'm not ashamed of it. It doesn't bother me any more than it should. I just got to continue to believe in the work that's required, and continue to let the Lord bring the lessons into my life that will allow me to behave in ways that I would like. And so that's really what it is I have to say about that. I didn't want to make this too long of a video because those uploads take forever and that's just a thing. But you know, man, I really appreciate that I have this hotel room. I got a roof over my head for the next 7 nights, including this one. And you know, I just feel like it's a clean slate. Like, unfortunately, the videos that y'all missed, I was able to say a lot of key things that I want to refer to, but you ain't gonna see. But You know, in the video that I made earlier, I was just talking about how I, you know, got on this side of town and I just feel like I have a clean slate. I got on this side of town, walking down the street, and I just felt all kinds of spiritual energy as if I crossed another checkpoint in my life, as if it were a video game, like type of thing where you just feel like the whole area around you is like a spiritual object. That's what it felt like when I was walking down the street today, and I was telling everybody about how just how divine this entire process has been since the time I woke up this morning with the camera in my hand, telling y'all this is it, August 31st, the sheriff's on the way, to where we are right now, not even 16 hours later, to where I have so much of a lighter load on my shoulders, so much of a stronger appreciation for building something that you want and keeping it and not letting it to go by the wayside for any reason. So that's what it is. You know, I'm in a space right now where things are gonna definitely get better because I'm intent on putting in more effort, which will by default make them better. And so yeah, that's what I gotta say. I did 2 art pieces. Neither one of them are really nothing I'm proud of, but you know, I'm underway in regards to picking up the pieces on what it is that I always do and continuing to do it. And today has been a heavy content day. I felt especially talkative, but you know, there will be other things that I do as well. So it's unfortunate that half of those videos I made literally got erased. It's like 3 of them that did not show. One of them was almost like 45 minutes long, walking down the street and getting food and then walking back and running into an apartment that looked like it was, I went through a moment where I realized that I had lived over here, or not lived over here, but came over here when I was little, because this street was the street that my friend Q used to live. I think it was Van Owen, something like that. I walked past a 7-Eleven that I recognized from when I was like 9-10 years old or something. So I think that's what it really comes down to. You just understand that, you know, I was walking around this neighborhood, I felt a familiarity, and then realized it's because this is that area that I used to spend the night over his house sometimes and hang out when I was a little kid. So, you know, the overall full circle of it all for me just made it work. You know, in situations like this, you don't know if you're going to still be in the state. I thought I was going to be maybe across the country or in Vegas by now or something like that, but I get to come back to places I used to frequent that I didn't know if I would very much come back to at all. So I'm just looking forward to what God wants to do next, and I'm looking forward to learning the lessons necessary to see that I got it together. And you know, I'm past some of that stuff. Some of the stuff that was going on at the Lawrence, it's officially behind me, just like the lady said in the car on the way here. You know, it's a clean slate. You don't have to do any beating yourself up over what hasn't necessarily worked out, because at this point, now you know things can work out. You just have to put forth the effort to believe in yourself, do the work, and then value what it is that you're actually trying to do well enough. You know, don't just kind of just halfway do it. You got to really go in and put forth the effort to assure that what you want is had. So I just encourage everybody to do their thing, whatever it may be, and don't allow anything to frustrate you to the point where you don't have your confidence. So that's what I want to say, man. At this point, I think it's time for me to just start looking at what's going on in Apple Music, see if there's any new music tonight since it's Thursday night. I'm not particularly inspired to do anything other than talk to y'all, but at this point, I kind of just want to not do anything, really. My shoulders a little hurt right now, too, from all that lifting we did yesterday. So I think I'm a little exhausted, but not quite sleepy. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life, and I feel relief. I feel relaxed, and I feel like I need to stay on my toes as well. You know, just in general, gotta get on my toes and stay on them. You know, because that's what kind of relaxing in that way is ultimately what caused me the problems in the first place. So I don't trust my relaxation at all, I guess is what I'm saying. But you know, this brain is always going to try to find something to stress over, even if there's nothing. You know, always try to find something. Right now, the latest is the weights. Since I've been telling y'all, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up my fitness the way that I'm used to doing it. So that's what I've chosen to attach my negativity to. But all in all, it's like everything else. Just give it to God and understand why you were able to do what it is that you did in the first place. It's because you gave it to God first. I said, God, I want to get in shape, and then from there he gave me the opportunities necessary to make that happen. Anytime I was moving in a direction that didn't allow me to be active, it was usually because I didn't come to God and ask him to help me do it. Anything I ever got done successfully, it probably came from a prayer first. So I just encourage everybody to take that for what it's worth, and motivate yourself. Motivate yourself. Stay motivated. Stay diligent, and know that your path is worth it, man. What you're trying to do, it's worth it. You know, if you're on a mission to raise your family or make a way for yourself, or whatever the case may be, get off your feet. You get on your feet, rather, after falling like I did. It's all worth it. You gotta believe that it's worth it. Do the work, and don't give up. So that's what I gotta say. BDF 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.